The San Francisco 49ers are heading into Week 2 of the 2025 NFL season with questions swirling around the team. Their matchup against the New Orleans Saints has quickly become one of the most anticipated games of the week, not just because of the teams involved, but because of the uncertainty surrounding San Francisco's roster. With Brock Purdy sidelined due to injury and Mac Jones stepping in as the starting quarterback, fans and analysts alike are debating whether the 49ers are going to pull off a victory or suffer a setback against a Saints team that's hungry to make a statement. The injury news couldn't have come at a worse time for San Francisco. Brock Purdy, who has steadily grown into one of the most reliable young quarterbacks in the NFL, was injured with a turf toe variant and also some shoulder issues. Early reports suggest he could miss anywhere between 2 and 5 weeks, leaving the 49ers without their offensive leader. This situation automatically shifts pressure onto Mac Jones, who was acquired as a backup but is now thrust into the spotlight. For Jones, this isn't just about managing a game. It's about proving he can keep a playoff-caliber team afloat during a critical stretch. Mac Jones's performance will likely determine the direction of this Week 2 matchup. While Jones struggled in his later years with the Patriots, the 49ers system is very different. Under head coach Kyle Shanahan, quarterbacks are asked to execute a scheme that prioritizes rhythm, timing, and short to intermediate accuracy. If Jones can stick to the system, lean on play action, and let the offensive weapons around him shine, he doesn't need to be a superstar. He just needs to be solid. However, if he struggles under pressure or turns the ball over, the Saints' opportunistic defense will take full advantage. Another major storyline is the absence of George Kittle. The All-Pro tight end was placed on injured reserve with a hamstring injury, leaving a massive hole in the offense. Kittle is not only a dynamic receiving threat, but also one of the best blocking tight ends in the game. Without him, San Francisco loses a safety valve for the quarterback and a critical piece of the run game. Players like Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk will have to step up in the passing attack, while the offensive line needs to maintain discipline without Kittle's blocking support. On the positive side, San Francisco still has Christian McCaffrey, who remains one of the most dangerous offensive weapons in the league. McCaffrey can change the flow of a game with his versatility, catching passes out of the backfield, breaking long runs, and forcing defenses to adjust their schemes. Expect Shanahan to lean heavily on McCaffrey in this matchup. If the Saints can't contain him, the 49ers offense will remain dangerous even without Purdy and Kittle. The offensive line stability also brings some confidence. The team recently locked in right tackle Colton McKivitz with a 3-year extension worth $45 million, showing the trust they have in him. Protecting Mac Jones will be crucial against a Saints defense that can rush the passer effectively. If the line can hold up and give Jones time to execute Shanahan's system, the 49ers will be in good shape. Defensively, the 49ers still boast one of the strongest units in the NFL. Nick Bosa continues to be the heart of the pass rush, capable of disrupting any offensive game plan. The linebacking duo of Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw provides both speed and intelligence, making it difficult for opponents to exploit the middle of the field. The secondary, which has been inconsistent in recent seasons, will face a challenge against New Orleans receivers. But if the front seven controls the line of scrimmage, it will give the defensive backs a much easier task. The Saints, on the other hand, are not a team to underestimate. They're coming into this game with a balanced attack and the motivation to prove themselves against a 49er squad dealing with injuries. Their defense, known for forcing turnovers and playing physical football, is going to test Mac Jones early and often. Offensively, the Saints have a mix of veteran leadership and young playmakers who can stretch the field and create mismatches. If their quarterback can avoid turnovers and get the ball into the hands of his playmakers, the Saints could put real pressure on San Francisco. This game may ultimately come down to coaching. Kyle Shanahan has built a reputation as one of the best offensive minds in football. He knows how to design game plans that maximize the strengths of his roster while masking weaknesses. Going up against the Saints, Shanahan will need to be creative, using motion, misdirection, and play action to keep the defense guessing. On the other side, the Saints coaching staff will look to exploit the absence of Purdy and Kittle, forcing the 49ers to rely on players who may not be as comfortable in the spotlight. Special teams will also play a role in this game. The 49ers recently released kicker Jake Moody and signed Eddie Pinheiro to stabilize the kicking situation. Any missed opportunities in a close matchup could swing momentum. Field position battles, kick returns, and clutch field goals may all become deciding factors in what is expected to be a tightly contested game. For 49ers fans, the key question is simple: can this team survive without its stars? The answer depends on how well the supporting cast performs. Brandon Ayuk must play like a true WR1. Christian McCaffrey has to be his explosive self, and the defense must continue to dominate. If these elements come together, San Francisco has enough talent to beat the Saints, even without Purdy and Kittle. On the flip side, the risks are clear. Mac Jones has not proven himself as a consistent starter in recent years, and if he falters, the Saints will capitalize. The lack of George Kittle means fewer mismatches in the passing game, and the Saints' defense is disciplined enough to take away predictable options. If San Francisco falls behind early, it may be difficult for them to mount a comeback with a backup quarterback leading the way. Looking at the bigger picture, this Week 2 matchup is more than just a single game. It's a test of the 49ers' resilience and depth. Championship-caliber teams find ways to win even when injuries pile up. For years, the 49ers have prided themselves on being next man up. Now is the time for that mentality to shine through. Fans should expect a gritty, hard-fought game. The 49ers will lean on their defense, hope for a steady performance from Mac Jones, and unleash Christian McCaffrey to keep the offense moving. The Saints will try to exploit San Francisco's weaknesses, forcing mistakes and turning them into points. Ultimately, this game may come down to just a handful of plays, whether it's a critical third down conversion, a defensive turnover, or a late-game field goal. In conclusion, the question of whether the 49ers are going to win or lose against the Saints in Week 2 remains uncertain. What's certain is that this matchup will reveal a lot about the team's character, coaching, and depth. If Mac Jones can rise to the occasion and the defense continues its dominance, the 49ers could very well pull off the victory. But if the Saints force turnovers and exploit the absence of key stars, San Francisco may find themselves facing an early season setback. Either way, this game promises drama, intensity, and the kind of unpredictable excitement that makes the NFL so compelling.